So there's this fact of life that I think about pretty often. Every single one of us, you, me, everyone else, we are all skeletons wearing meat suits hurtling through space on a rocket thousands of miles an hour. And when you really think about this fact, it's humbling, but it's also totally rad, and it's a good reason for why we should probably wear sunglasses indoors more often. But in addition to all of that, it also means that we shouldn't really feel nervous when we're meeting new people. After all, they too are just shambling stacks of collagen hurtling through space at ludicrous speeds. Still, a lot of us get that tight feeling in the gut when faced with the prospect of meeting a new person. And there are a lot of deep-rooted reasons for this. Maybe you fear being judged, maybe you fear being rejected, or something that I struggle with big time, maybe you're just afraid that you're gonna have nothing to say to the other person after you introduce yourself and shake their hand, and things are gonna get awkward. Luckily, there are strategies that you can use to deal with all of these problems. And today, we're gonna go over some of the ones that don't include ingesting fermented sugar or limiting all of your interactions to two-dimensional characters. Number 1. Detach your sense of self-worth from the outcome of the meeting. Realize that rejection doesn't matter in the long run, whether it's someone that you want to ask out on a date or a potential business contact, or just somebody that you admire. The way that they respond has no effect on your self-worth. Now, if the meeting goes poorly, you're gonna feel some embarrassment in the short term. Yes, that is unavoidable. But once you get over that feeling of embarrassment, the long-term effects are nothing but positive. That rejection and the survival of that rejection just is another data point that proves you can get through a rocky meeting and come out the other side intact. And adopting this mindset actually makes you a more attractive person right off the bat, because when you're not preoccupied with the outcome of the meeting, you're gonna act more naturally. Now, a great way of getting better at adopting this mindset every time you go into an interaction is to work on building a strong internal sense of self-confidence. And that is a topic for another video, this one actually, but when you know that you're awesome, you're not constantly looking for external validation to prop up your sense of self-confidence, whether it comes from people praising you or people agreeing with your tastes. When you have that strong core of self-confidence, you're gonna be much more able to make it through a situation where there's potential rejection. Number 2. Remember that the meeting is a two-way street, and this means that the person you're meeting is often just as nervous as you are, even if you feel that you're on the wrong side of a power imbalance, such as meeting a famous person or trying to talk to somebody who you feel is out of your league. People who are in the limelight, people who are constantly showered with compliments, they often feel like they don't deserve them, or that they're being put on a pedestal and they don't know how to react well. And in many cases, it's not their social confidence that has put them in the limelight. It's something else, like their talent as a writer or as a musician, and those things don't automatically translate to being confident in social situations. A lot of celebrities and famous people have attested to this. Many of them have come out saying that they're shy, that they're uncomfortable around new people, including people like Lady Gaga. Number 3, do your research on the other person. Sometimes. Now, this is not a tip that's going to apply to spontaneous interactions. If you meet somebody at an event, you shake their hand, and then you say one moment while you go into the bathroom to stalk them on Facebook, things are probably gonna get a little bit awkward. So in those cases, probably ignore this one. But if you know you're gonna meet somebody beforehand, it can be useful to take a few minutes, glance at their social profiles, and try to get a quick indication of what their interests might be. For example, if you're gonna meet Elon Musk, you might wanna know the current state of the Falcon rocket projects, and also that he likes bees with top hats. Number 4. The next tip is to practice visualization, which is essentially the practice of mentally picturing a successful interaction happening before you actually go into it. Or in a more general sense, visualization just means picturing success in your mind. Confucius said it best: he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. It comes right back down to that internal sense of self-confidence. When you are confident that you're going to win or have a great interaction, you're much more likely to make that a reality. And many, many athletes, Olympians, movie stars, famous people of all types have used this technique to great effect. I think my favorite example is Jim Carrey, who actually wrote himself a fake check for $10 million that was dated 3 years in the future and then kept that in his wallet.
I wrote myself a check for $10 million. For acting services rendered, and I put it in my wallet and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. And just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was gonna make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
Lots of athletes use this technique as well. The most famous example probably being Michael Phelps, who when he was working with his coach would go home every single night and be instructed to watch the videotape, which wasn't actually a physical videotape, but it was a mental projection of having a perfect race. And well, you know how well he did. Number 5.
That's number 1.
Remember that you do not look as nervous as you feel. And this is something that I have to remind myself of every single time that I speak publicly. When I first started speaking publicly, I was sure that the nervousness I felt, that shaking in my hands, that sort of static feeling in my head was translating to the way that I looked on stage. But after I got some video footage of my first few times speaking, I realized that that wasn't the case at all. Maybe my emotions were a bit robotic, maybe I looked a bit unpolished, but the way that I felt was not reflected in the way that I looked. I looked a lot calmer. And when you realize this, you're actually gonna feel a lot calmer as well. Number 6. Take deeper and slower breaths before you go into an interaction where you're nervous. Now, all of us know that our body language is affected by the way that we're feeling and by what we're thinking, but this too is a two-way street. And by deliberately taking slower breaths, breathing in more deeply, these things can actually calm you down and lower feelings of anxiety. Similarly, changing your posture or what you do with your hands can literally make you feel more confident. And even choosing to smile can release chemicals that make you feel happier. So realize that the brain-body connection is a two-way street and you can deliberately affect it positively in both ways. Number 7. Let the other person do most of the talking. This is a great way to get over that fear of having nothing to say, which is my biggest struggle in meeting new people, especially when I'm in a context where there's not a whole lot that I can go off of to strike up a conversation, like I'm at a wedding or something. You know, I often feel like I don't have anything to say, but what I've learned is that people love to talk about themselves and their interests, especially if you've demonstrated that you're willing to listen and be engaged. So if you're worried that you're gonna have nothing to say, let them take the lead. Listen actively, ask questions, and if there are opportunities for you to contribute, well, you can. Finally, I want to share a mantra that I've tried to live by for a long time. An interested person is an interesting person. This applies not only to showing interest in the other person during a conversation, but also to the breadth and depth of your own interests. If you spend time learning widely, then you'll be able to speak knowledgeably and passionately about a lot of different things. And that makes it so much more likely that you'll make a connection with anyone you meet. And if you want to start broadening your base of knowledge in areas like nature and science and history, check out CuriosityStream. They have over 2,400 high-quality documentaries on topics ranging from artificial intelligence to fungi to the history behind Pompeii, and lots more. And you can stream all of these documentaries to almost any device you want, as they have apps for iOS, Android, Roku, and lots more. And you can do it without paying a whole lot, since the subscription to CuriosityStream is just $2.99 per month. And if you're looking for a place to start, I'd recommend David Attenborough's Light on Earth, which explores bioluminescence. And you can actually watch it for free, because if you go to the link in the description down below and use the code Thomas when you sign up, you'll get a 1-month free trial. Huge thanks, as always, goes out to CuriosityStream for sponsoring this episode and being a supporter of my channel, and thank you as well for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, maybe consider hitting that like button and also get subscribed right there so you don't miss future videos when they come out. Of course, you can also grab a free copy of my book on how to earn better grades right there, which might be relevant to you since back to school is right around the corner. Otherwise, you can find a couple of more videos on this channel right over here and here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.